Hey friends, Scott Smith with the Smith team at Keller Williams. Wanted to share with you a mid-year update on what is going on with the Twin Cities real estate market. So we have a little bit longer video, but there's some great content. So make sure you watch to the end and what is forecasted for the rest of 2026. Here we go. All right, here we go. I want to share with you our mid-year update for the Twin Cities real estate market. I'm also going to sprinkle in some national numbers. Obviously, all real estate is local, but what we see headlines nationally might sometimes contradict what we are experiencing locally. So I'm going to share with you some insight as it relates to that. The biggest thing that we are seeing this year in our Twin Cities real estate market is stability. There are some great opportunities out there for both buyers and sellers, depending on what price point you're in. We're seeing a lot more first-time buyers coming into the market, which has brought our median sale price down a little bit. But we're also seeing more opportunities for people building and taking advantage of some of the loosening of supply chain. So let's get into some of the key numbers for you with the Twin Cities real estate market. All right, so some of the key numbers that we know off the top of our head within the Twin Cities. What is the median sales price? And when I say stability, that basically we are experiencing a flat market. Our median sale price year to date is only up 1.6%. The interesting thing about that, when you compare it to some of the national numbers, the southeast area, the Florida, Texas, Georgia, those areas that really had some really strong upswings are down considerably, depending on which market you're in. It could be down double figures, whereas the Northeast, the mid-Atlantic states, the Maryland, all the way up to New York and Massachusetts area, those markets are very, very strong. So we're seeing more and more activity in those markets. The Southwest, California, and the Arizona markets, a little bit different mixed bag depending on which community that you're in. So the Twin Cities and the Minnesota metro area, we're definitely seeing more of a flat market, which is good. We're not on the downside, but we're Midwest, right? So we don't have the big highs of highs and the lows of lows. We're just right steady in the middle. So that's a good thing. We are expecting to see modest appreciation this year, but not necessarily prices falling. So the one thing that we're seeing though is our average days on market is actually up about a week compared to where we were last year. So what we actually have experienced this year, talking to a number of other agents, is that our spring market was actually pushed out maybe 4 to 6 weeks. We had some weather events, we had some political events, and we had some economic events that might have pushed that typically spring market that we experience in February, March, more into March, April, May. So we're having a good, strong second quarter and expect that to carry into the summer months as well. The other thing that we're seeing is increased inventory locally. So that's giving more and more buyers an opportunity to find the home of their choice, with those homes staying on the market a little bit longer. Even with the interest rate bumping up a little bit, we're still seeing more and more buyers that are out there getting ready to take advantage of some of those good deals out there. The one thing I wanted to share with you, it's more of an internal number that we see from the Board of Realtors, is that the list to sale ratio. And what that number is where a property starts and their asking price, where it finally ends up selling at. And those numbers don't come out until property closes, so it's usually about a 30-day lag time. But what we've seen is basically a small, very slight drop in that percentage, which means that there's a lot more negotiating opportunity. I'll show you some national stats with that as we kind of get into more of the details. So new listings, here's the chart that we're seeing, where we're seeing the thick orange line that is up a little bit over where we were last year. So you can see we had a little bit more of a push as we're going into the spring market. Days on market, where we're up from last year and 2 years ago, actually, almost 2 weeks up above and beyond that. So a lot more opportunity, but those homes that are priced right and are in great condition, we're definitely seeing those selling in multiple offers. So there's some great opportunities for home buyers right now. If you've been kind of waiting for either interest rates or prices to fall, we haven't seen those, but we have absolutely seen that environment stabilize. So there's some great opportunities out there. We've had some fantastic deals for our buyer clients out there getting some great homes. So this is the list to sale ratio. This is right from the Twin Cities metro area, the Board of Realtors, where they're showing where we were in 2024, almost 100%, not back to 21 or 22, where we were well over 100%, but we're seeing that settle into nice rhythm within the market. Whenever we see this number a little bit higher or a little bit lower, we say price is a moving target. And so the 99.3%, down about 0.5% from where we were this time last year, is definitely a good opportunity for some of those buyers. This is actually a national statistic that we got from one of our news providers. I thought it was an interesting slide just to share with you, where more and more homes are selling for less than list price. The thing that was interesting to me, if you go back to 2021, where about a third of the homes were selling for less than their asking price, depending on where you were, I don't know where a third of those homes were selling, but most of them were selling well over 100% of the asking price. But nationally, we're seeing about 2/3 now that are selling below that asking price. So there's some good opportunity out there again for buyers if you're looking to negotiate a little bit off a price or more of some seller concessions when it comes to your next home. What we're seeing locally, Twin Cities, our pending sales are actually up a little bit over where they were last year. Again, this is year to date, kind of comparing this time last year. And again, what I'd shared is how we've seen the spring market get pushed out a little bit compared to where we were last year. What we're seeing with mortgage rates, this is actually from U.S. News. We've seen mortgage rates kind of fluctuate. There was a quick minute where we saw interest rates that were in the upper fives for about 2-3 weeks earlier this year. And then with all the political stuff that's happening abroad, we've actually seen interest rates bump up quite a bit. So we're seeing them settling in. But what we're expecting is that rates are actually going to settle into that low sixes. So when I talk about stability, this is a very encouraging thing for people can make some plans. If you're thinking about making a move, the Mortgage Bankers Association, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, they're throwing out there for the next foreseeable future, almost a full year. What we're expecting is that interest rates are going to really kind of settle into a nice rhythm, right just above 6%. So we've seen some loan programs like FHA or even veteran VA financing that are in the upper fives. But the typical 30-year conventional loan, what we've seen is kind of settling down to, especially compared to where we were last year. So that's good news on the mortgage front. More stability is a good thing. Also with that, this is again from one of our national news providers. We're seeing that there are more and more buyers that are back into the market, and what we're seeing is there's not letting the interest rates hold them back from making some of those life decisions. If it's waiting to get out of a lease and buy their first home, or if they are waiting to get into their next home, they're not going to let the interest rates stop them from that. They're ready to move on with their life and not letting their interest rates dictate kind of where they want to be. So that's good news. The other great news is that we've got a lot of equity in the market, in real estate values. So if you zoom in, right in Minnesota, we've got $207,000 is the average equity in a property in Minnesota. So that's great news. We've got great equity with that. We're not going to see a big foreclosure crash with the low interest rates that we've seen over the last few years. A lot of those homeowners are actually paying down their loan faster, and with the appreciation, that gap and equity compared to their debt is actually a very, very encouraging. So that's really good news. Locally, what we're seeing is the median sale price basically flat. We're down a little bit from where we were last year, down to $392, but it's actually up about 1.6% year over year comparing this time last year. That's a good thing. What we've actually seen that's probably bringing this down, I can't prove it, but I'm guessing that we've seen a lot more first-time buyers that are into the marketplace. Last year was a low watermark for decades with first-time buyers not getting out there and buying their first home. So this year we're seeing a lot more of that, and that's probably pulling that median sale price down just a touch. So that's a good thing. Getting more first-time buyers into the market allows those next step move-up buyers to get into their next home, and kind of that ripple effect as you kind of move forward. So median sale price, and locally we're expecting it's going to be anywhere from 2 to 4% modest appreciation as we close out 2026. So again, here's another slide that's showing the tremendous equity that nationally that homeowners have. Surprisingly, almost 40% own their home free and clear. That's great news. And then also 33% of people have more than 50% equity. So if you think about that, 2/3 of the people, or 1/3 if you flip it around, have less than 50% equity. So it's great stability and great financial decisions for home ownership. And what we'd like to see is some of those people taking that money and moving into a different property when the time is right. Speaking of that, when the time is right, if you know of anyone that's looking to make a move ready for their first home, there's some great down payment assistance programs out there. If you're ready for an upgrade, either to move up to something existing or even build, we are here to help out with that. That is our specialty, our family moving yours. If you're ready to downsize, if you've got a loved one, a family member that is aging in place and they're ready to move into something with a little bit more stability for them, or if you've got too many bedrooms, too many stairs, too much square footage, you're ready to simplify your life, certainly reach out to us. Todd and I are here to help you. So give us a call, 651-777-3434. We appreciate you hanging out there with us, watching our videos on a week-to-week basis. If there's anything we can do to help out, certainly reach out, and we'll be here for you when the time is right. Thanks. Take care.